Okay, let me make this short and sweet. It's my fourth try. My brother, who lives in England, sent me an article by Owen Jones in The Guardian about stating that there is hope for the left. And there's a certain constituency of personalities and forces that are all coming together. We have, Jeremy Corbyn travels the world. He rides his bicycle to Parliament. We have effective leadership, which is a dubious advantage. But anyway, we have all of these things going on, and we should take hope at a time when it looks apparently hopeless. And I wish to agree. And I thought, well, let me have a look. Let me have a read or have a look on YouTube at some of these leaders. And so I found a video of the co-founders or co-leaders at the moment of the Green Party in Britain, and speaking about their manifesto and their stuff, what they're doing, and they were celebrating something went on in the last election, which is very complicated, but it looks good, better for the Greens than it has done. And I'm listening to them, and of course they're doing what democracy has devolved to, which is that the Tories are bad and the Labour's bad, and this is what they're doing, have been doing, and intend to do. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, I'm sitting in America, this is going on in England, they're speaking English. Who started the Industrial Revolution? Who started the age of colonization? How long have we been operating in Europe and in America and in Australia and in Canada and in the first world, essentially, Western Europe? How long have we been operating, developing, educating, indoctrinating, justifying, revising history, telling tales, and establishing our value system based on the Industrial Revolution and colonization and capitalism? 500 years, at least. So if you're talking to people whose entire traditions, whose sense of history, whose Shakespearean plays are about the glories of colonization, monarchy, nobility, inequality, war, and you say to people who are steeped in this stuff, we need to change. Well, they don't even say, they're not saying that in the Green Party conference. What they're saying is the Tories need to change, Labour needs to change. We are the change, don't listen to them anymore. They're making all of these mistakes. And I'm going, I would think, for me, I would have to say, guys, my constituents, people who are going to vote for me, and this is the trick, my news is not good. This lifestyle that we've gotten used to, or we've gotten used to aspiring to, which is the lifestyle of the rich and famous and of the wealthy. That's our value system. This lifestyle, we can't do it anymore. We couldn't do it in the Elizabethan era. We couldn't do it then. The only way we got away with it was by killing vast numbers of other people, enslaving the rest, and saying this is progress. And that's what we did. That is American history. I mean, I don't want to get into that. So I would think that if you were going to say to people, if you were going to get people to vote for you, honestly, you'd say to them, look, going forwards, we cannot afford the rich. So stop imagining that being rich is going to happen and that is a measure of some sort of success. By and large, it isn't. People who bake great bread, people who sew wonderful dresses, people who even build decent cars do not become hugely wealthy. That's just not how it works, and that's as it should be. What the Greens, I think, should be presenting to their civilization to be successful, not only electorally successful, but be successful in what they claim they want, is by saying we need to alter what we consider valuable, what we consider happiness, what we consider useful lives. We need to change our value system. And they need to be able to say that from a position in the center of a civilization that has done exactly not that. It has done the opposite for 500 years. I mean, it's really funny when people have, they have race riots, and then people publish things about how, what's that wonderful Somali woman who wrote the book about Islam. I can't remember her name. Ali. And she was talking about how Islam wants to take over the West. And I thought, well, it sounds monotheistic. It's exactly what the Christians did. They took over. They negated and made irrelevant everybody else's faith system and said, this is it. So, of course, the Western world is going to be paranoid that somebody's going to come and do to them what they did to everybody else. So that's a good place to start, right? You can't, for example, you cannot operate, which all the political parties seem to be doing, on the basis of, going into the future, on the basis of growth economies. You need economies of adequacy. You need economies of enough, right? To date, it seems, since we've risen from serfdom and the world has begrudgingly acknowledged that every human being has value, that the main point of growth has been to sustain this aspiration or this drive to become wealthy, because that's where the money's going, right? The average person is in the same spot as they were 100 years ago, or 50 years ago anyway. So where's this growth going? Because the populations aren't growing. Where's this growth going? Well, we know where it's going. It's going into the incredibly exaggerated and huge income inequality. And I'm not sure why that is. The only way I can see that operating is that every little English boy and girl and every little American boy and girl grows up thinking, gosh, I can be like Hillary Clinton and travel always in Escalades driven by other people and get on jets flown by other people. And then you've got Jeremy Corbyn, who rides to work on a bicycle from Islington to the Houses of Parliament every day, right? So Kate Raworth wrote the book Donut Economy or The Donut Solution or something like that predicts that in order to deal with what the Greens say they're concerned about, which is environmental change, the rich nations, the first world, as I heard somebody say today, again, the best nations are going to have to learn to operate on 25% of what they do at the moment. They're going to have to consume 25% of the current level of fossil fuel. They're going to have to operate on 25% less meat, 75% less meat, whatever it is. We're going to have to scale our material lives way down. And it seems to me that the job of any political party that is promoting that notion is you're going to have to say to people, you can do this and have wonderful lives at the same time. Because that's not what we're saying. That's not what our Democrat, Labour, Tory, Republican statesmen are saying to us. It's not what we're saying to ourselves. And we need just if you have a logical brain, you go, yes, we're going to have to do it with less. We're going to have to find a way to have full lives on 25% of what we're operating with now. Of course, if you don't believe that climate change is an issue, carry on. The problem is, actually, revolutionarily, we can't afford people to doing that. This isn't one of those, you're going to believe what you want to believe over here, because what you believe is actually destructive to the whole rest of us. I love this discussion, and I think it would really only happen in America around the COVID crisis, right? There's all this stuff about how all the vaccines and all this and mandates and all the rest of it. And I think it's because simply even people like Glenn Greenwald cannot get through their heads the notion that if I take a vaccine, I am protecting other people. I might not like to take it, I might not believe in it, and all the rest of it. But as a gambling man myself, I thought if I go and get a COVID vaccine, I didn't think it was going to mess with my precious bodily American fluids. If I go and get a COVID vaccine, I am making it much more likely that many people around me will live longer. That seems to not be feasible in America. That just doesn't seem to be a value anymore. And those are the values that I think that those are the kinds of values that need to change. And there's more, but that's enough.